Hey guys, welcome to my monthly recap. Let's have a look what I watched in June 23. I will pick 5 movies from my Letterboxd diary, 1 series and 1 hidden gem that you most likely haven't seen yet. But before we literally will get lost in a rabbit hole, please make sure you like and follow for more horror movie recommendations. Okay, let's kick off with a brand new one that actually the Netflix top 10 brought to me, and the main actress you may already know from Succession, Sarah Snook.
She went missing when she was only 7.
I'm 7.
Run, Rabbit Run from 23, directed by Dana Reed. Actually, every plot summary on the entire internet starts off with Sarah, a fertility doctor, ... But her job is actually quite irrelevant for this story, so let me rephrase the synopsis a bit. What's it about? A mother who struggles with grief and family issues starts to recognize increasingly strange behavior of her daughter Mia. And this Babadook-like setup gets peppered with tons of Alice in Wonderland references. We have white bunnies running around everywhere. Mia often wears this pink rabbit mask, which reminded me a bit of Goodnight Mommy, if you remember these guys from the original one, of course. And Mia also likes to seek shelter in rabbit hole-like tunnels. And this rabbit theme is probably connected to entering different realities and also to birth and rebirth, and that's probably why they wrote the main character as a fertility doctor. But such like her job, also all these Easter eggs fall short. They are not substantiated in the movie or have any kind of deeper context. That's why I would say the only thing that actually is working in this film is the key element of horror, like the continuous estrangement between a mom and daughter, which gave me like We Need to Talk About Kevin or Prevenge vibes. All in all, I didn't like it too much. I would rate it with 2 out of 5 bunnies. The lead actor of the next film was actually casted because of his appearance in a Dr. Pepper commercial, and then Dr. Pepper kicked him off for the nude scenes in this film. And true horror fans that like movies from the 80s will know which classic I'm talking about.
What was it? A coyote. There aren't any coyotes in England.
Exactly, An American Werewolf in London from 1981, directed by John Landis, in which 2 tourists travel through England and then got attacked by a beastly wolfman. One of them wakes up in a Londoner hospital and falls in love with a nurse, while the other one comes back as an undead joker who occasionally hangs out in an adult cinema at Piccadilly Circus. And I must admit, I only watched this recently during a dark night in London, and halfway in the movie I realized that also in real life it's actually full moon, which was kind of scary. Unfortunately though, I wasn't attacked by a wolfy David Norton. But the movie experience was kind of great. And that's first and foremost because of the werewolf transition, given the special effects and makeup is not only for 80s standards but even nowadays top notch. Then how they portrayed London is great, with like the sweet apartment at Earl's Court or Tottenham Court Road Station. And it also has a coming out of age element to it, given those 2 boys are a bit on a Eurotrip like mission in the beginning and then develop into more empathetic characters with depth and true feelings. I rate this one with a 5 out of 5 Furry Paws on Letterboxd, and would say it's definitely a must watch for every true horror fan or everyone who's based in London. Oh boy, movie director Christian Taldrup must have had a weird holiday acquaintance if real life experiences inspired him to this bone-drilling masterpiece.
He's been cooking all day. He's making wild boar.
This is for you.
I'm a vegetarian.
I insist. I insist. Wat zijn jullie? Let's go.
Speak No Evil from 2022 is about a family that meets another family during a vacation and afterwards visits them at their home for a weekend. And hopefully, unlike Taldrup's real-life experience, this gets very bizarre and very nightmarish. Björn and Louise have a hard time to say no, they always want to be polite, and I think this is somewhat relatable, that we all know situations where we don't want to say something because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings or don't want to be excluded. The other very relatable aspect of this is that holiday acquaintances sometimes don't work out in everyday life situations afterwards, and it doesn't really fit any longer. And combining those two feelings is actually the essence of this horror film, and it gets pushed and pushed and pushed beyond every limit. It peaks in a Shyamalan-esque twist. That's my favorite word. I don't know why I use it every time, but here it really applies. And it ends in ruthless brutality that makes this film unforgettable, but also elevates this everyday situation to a more metaphoric kind of puzzle. I rate it with 5 out of 5 tongues on Letterboxd. Okay, lol, this doesn't make sense if you don't know the movie yet, but I would definitely recommend to watch this. Just be sure you're ready for it. Both Stephen King and Nick Cage said about the next one that it's brilliant and the best horror piece of 2021. So let's see if we agree.
I'm seeing murders as they're happening. Hello?
Malignant, directed by James Wan, who's the director of The Conjuring, Saw, and Insidious, showed up with a slightly different piece of work here. Madison has visions of horrifying murders and slowly understands that they're actually happening in real life. This was a rewatch for me in the context of Insidious, and also because I saw and read a lot of reviews about it describing this as camp. However, I didn't remember that to be campy, and still I don't see that, so please leave a comment explaining to me how you felt about the tone of this movie. I actually took it very seriously. I don't know why people have such a different perception of it, but nevertheless I enjoyed it for the very sharp performance of the lead actress, and also for the shocking elements, as well as how domestic violence is actually pictured in this film. I think works well and gives you a lot of food for thought. Yet as a whole, this movie is a bit forgettable. I rate it with 3 out of 5 imaginary childhood friends. The series I watched this month is probably the one everyone watched, Black Mirror.
What do you want to watch?
Can't really do another true crime.
What about?
Oh my god. She even has your hair.
Season 6 of this dystopian anthology series about the horror of technologies is not only about latest tech developments, but this time also combines it with some B-movie elements like werewolves, demons, and I don't know what. But yeah, I think that doesn't really work well. My favorite episode though was the second one, Log Henry, about this true crime documentary. I think the characters in this one are very ambivalent, and you have shifting emotions so many times from one side to the other side that it really is so unsettling and well made in terms of plot writing. Whereas, for example, the first episode with Joan is awful, but as I promised you, more horror for you guys. A hidden gem that I think you most likely don't know yet. And let's go to an Irish town where allegedly Bram Stoker got his idea for the vampire from. Allegedly.
Oh, come on, what are we supposed to do about this?
The Boys from County Hell from 2022 is directed by Chris Bow and pictures a father and son duo as well as a crew of road workers in Ireland that accidentally set free an Asian vampire, and they just try to survive the night. This is a horror comedy that combines Irish folklore with the vampire myth in a very fun and fast-paced humor way, but also with a lot of gore and brutality, as well as sometimes very quiet, very subtle, tragically beautiful scenes, just like the beginning when the blood floods out of the victims and the vampire doesn't even need to be close to them for him being effective in his power, is, in my opinion, a super clever and new take on vampires being cruel to their victims. What's also very new in this film is that, like typical weapons like garlic or a wooden peg, they might not work anymore, and this is combined with very lovely characters, as well as this film does something that I miss so often in movies about vampires, possessed people, or other tragic like spells, is that how some of family members of the victims react to them being turned into something evil is way more realistic than, for example, in Evil Dead, where you just from second one accept it and fight them. So I really think this movie has a lot of heart to it and a lot of fun. Please give it a try and let me know how you like it. And that's it for this month. Many thanks for watching, and please don't forget to also follow me on Letterboxd as well as my Instagram if you want more recommendations. Stay tuned for the summer special.